us, but you can't erase it.
That's right.
You can convince us not to use it and put us in the Amen spell to remain unknown to the world of our God status.
Yes. Why do you why do you think now? Well, I know we're heading into reset, we're regenerate, we're going into a new era. But why do you think it is now that there isn't as much resistance towards the truth that the indigenous brown melanated people were already coexisting in the Americas? Why do you think there's resist? Why do you think they are? Why aren't the governmental officials resisting as much? Is it that because they have to follow the rules and regulations that come at this time? What do you think about that?
You remember 9/11?
Oh, yeah, I'm a New Yorker. Yeah.
Okay. Now, all of the people that was under the crash site when the planes crashed, what was the first reaction?
Well, shock and camaraderie,
Well,
helping
what did
each
they
other.
do? The activities they did. The number one thing is get the fuck out this building.
Oh well, yeah, they were out, and remember there wasn't a plane. I don't want to, there wasn't a plane
Mhm.
because those on site were, at the time we were coming back into New York to get some more furniture, and at the time people were saying they heard explosions and no one saw a plane that was on site. That's just allegedly, but that's what all the videos from back in the days. No one saw anything. The only people who saw planes were people on television.
Yeah,
I'm just
reporters.
saying. Yeah,
Because you can't play CGI in real time,
that's right.
right? But the what plane hit Building 7?
What number plane?
There was no plane hit Building
No, there
7.
was nothing. There was a demolition. Well, they
Right.
what they said is just like it collapsed on its own,
Okay, now,
spontaneously.
here's the historical tidbit for you. In the 1920s, a
Mm,
guy flew a little twin engine plane into the Empire State Building.
yes.
Most of us don't know that. But why is that important when we reviewing 9/11? Because they told the architect that when he built the building, he have to build it to withstand the a crash from a large plane.
Yes. Yes.
And he was like, "Why?" He said, "Because of when they flew that plane into the Empire State
That
Building."
was the reference. Yes.
Right? That's what they told him. Now all of a sudden, some planes flew into the building and they couldn't withstand the blast.
Mm,
But the demolitionists, people that does control demolition,
that's
they
what.
swear it was a controlled demolition. They
It's
say,
just a pattern. It followed a pattern.
yeah,
Yes. By the way
and
it collapsed. Yeah.
especially Building 7,
Because I
right?
worked over there. I worked in the World Financial Center across the street that was connected to the World Trade Centers. And I mean, it was it was impossible to even conceive that just from a hit on top that it would collapse from beneath, just back to, like collapse back, down, down, down. Yeah. And they never talked about that there was videos of right, I think it was by the George Washington Bridge, of a couple of trucks that had dynamite in it, and they never, like, it was, if you watched the news at the time, people who were in New York saw the news where they said they found people who had trucks that were with explosives by the George Washington Bridge, and
Well, they
on one
were
of the trucks was an
to get
image
more
of a plane.
specific. They said they was Jews,
Yes, yeah.
and the Israeli government lobbied for their release in
Mm,
the silencing of the information.
interesting, right?
So they had 19 hijackers. That's what they told us, ain't it?
With perfect, intact, passports on the grounds of, around the buildings, just intact, conveniently.
Yeah.
Keep talking, Rod. I'm gonna listen to you. Hold on, I'll be back. Keep going.
Most of the people is unaware that billions of dollars was reported on the 10th of September, and that um, Dick Cheney and a couple of generals had their offices reinforced for a Scud missile. America makes Scud missiles. That's a phenomenal perception to analyze, because why would you be worried about a Scud missile and not a Silkworm made in China? So they got video showing the missile hitting the Pentagon. They got CGI showing planes hit the buildings, but they never showed a plane hit Building 7 and all three buildings went down. But also, tons of gold was removed prior to the event. So where's all the gold? And we know gold was removed because one of the trucks broke down in the tunnels under New York that was escaping the World Trade Center. So when we look at all of these questionable aspects of the event, and not to mention that several of those 19 people identified as hijackers have been located, and they was alive and well. And one of them was in Morocco, a couple of them was in Libya, and a couple of them was in Saudi Arabia, and they never been over here. But according to the so-called terrorist list, they was listed as the terrorists that performed the event so that they could blame Osama bin Laden, who outran the U.S. military with a big-ass dialysis machine toting everywhere he go until he encountered SEAL Team 6. Then in the aftermath, during the Obama administration, is emails that Hillary and Obama wanted to silence SEAL Team 6 about the assassination of Osama bin Laden. But we don't talk about that stuff because we conditioned to believe that this government is so righteous, no way they would do that to their own people. Yet they bombed John Africa's family in Philadelphia. That was in the 80s. And then they bombed Black Wall Street. They bombed Rosewood. Why wouldn't they kill the Team 6 that they called him the Snowman, was the moniker they gave him? Right? Okay, now you come in with Vice President under the second George Bush.
Mm-hmm.
The Bush plot is also called the Garden Plot. The Garden Plot is tied to Operation Evergreen. Evergreen just so happened to be the nickname of Hillary Clinton. Right?
That's her nickname?
Yeah, that's her CIA code name.
Oh.
Evergreen.
Why?
Right.
What's the
human trafficking?
Okay.
The
Makes
Evergreen, she owned a company that used to use Evergreen for shipping children in those big old look like box cars that they bring in off the water.
The shipping containers, yeah.
Right. So so she's Evergreen. Her husband is the Snowman.
This is crazy. Crazy.
Right. And Obama's nickname is the Jackal.
And why?
Because he's from Kenya. Kenya is the land of the jackal.
Yes.
Right.
Interesting, which is a satanic reference, because if you watch the old movie Damien,
Rosemary Baby.
Yeah, Rosemary Baby, Damien, all those satanic movies, the jackal was always referenced as being birthed, children being birthed from jackals. Interesting enough.
Right. But that's just the totem symbol of somebody from Kenya.
Oh, okay.
Which would be Obama's father, which would make him the son of the jackal. Right. So all this stuff is reverse engineering. It's the exit of the cycles that got us into the trap, liberating us from the trap. Right. Everything we seen going in, whether it was the Catholic Church being founded on Peter, leaving with a Peter. Peter is also slang for what? A penis.
And they just shot that fake penis, the penis up in the air with the women in it, a whole cosplay of astronauts. I've never seen anything like that. It was just insidious. It was insane to even watch something so crazy.
What was the colors they was wearing?
Blue and white. Was it blue and
Yeah.
white?
When you look at the blue, that's the priestesses of Egypt.
Oh,
In the what's it called? The Temple of Dendera, I think, have the gates of Ishtar that
mm-hmm.
has the same blue, royal blue paint color on it.
Oh, wow.
And then they have a stone tied to them. It might be lapis lazuli, but it's a stone that color also that was sacred to the priestesses.
Okay.
Right. So everything they doing, they just reverse. They exit in the same way we came in.
That's what I was
Right.
talking about with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Revisiting how I came in and who I saw is who I see when I exit. Yeah.
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 So imagine yourself walking the room and you scan from right to left, but then you walk to the other wall, but you don't like it there. You leave it out, and now you scanning left to right. You still see the same people that haven't moved. Couple people moved, the same but different.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you're seeing and leaving everything you've seen coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of it is coded. The Black House is a secret society sign of loss, or if somebody is fighting you and you do the blackout, that's the surrender, the loss. You lost.
Yeah.
Right. So when you look at where the blackout was at, it was the Iberian Peninsula where the colonizers originally came from,
Yes.
following Christopher Columbus.
Yeah. That specific region. Yeah.
Hmm.
It was some sort of reset because it was only 12 hours, like how TikTok went down for 12 hours. Some sort of reset.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So the blackout can be anywhere from 5 minutes to 90 days, depending on the effect that they wanted to cause.
Don't you think that was like a beta test to see? Because we're talking about mirroring, right? So, years ago when I was on YouTube, it's like maybe 10 years ago, I was bringing up what was going on in Europe, and I said it's probably going to happen in the United States. It's like they beta test. So, wouldn't it be like a reflection thing, refraction for reflection? Like what we see in Europe is probably going to be something that will be reinstituted, looking similar but different on the other side, right?
Hmm. So what they do is, as the more blackouts you have, the
Yeah,
closer to the finale you are.
that's right.
But
Ooh,
that was
okay.
the first major blackout. There's going to be major blackouts that's got to go all the way around the world,
Absolutely.
right? And we might experience in parts of the country while other parts of the country is perfectly fine. And then when they get their lights on, another part might go out.
But isn't it a form of reinstituting? Like you can't, we're still under the fiat system. And in order for us to collapse it, we have to very well kind of clear everything that was before, right? So in order to do it and kind of make it seem like it's organic and natural, we couldn't do it all together because that would be, people would think that's suspicious. But couldn't we do it like coordinated, blackout, like you said, blackout, blackout, blackout? And then eventually everything is so reset and distorted that you can reinstitute a new fiscal kind of monetary system, which is like Bitcoin. That's why they're going into like Bitcoin and all these what do you call it, like cyber
Digital currency.
forms of currency. Yeah,
Yeah. So whatever currency we go to next, because we're going into the age of truth, they have to have true currency. And the only true currency is the platinum group metals. That's what we've been
that's
using.
right. Silver, gold, and platinum. Yeah,
Yeah. So the newest addition to backing your financial assets is the diamond. That's why the De Beers has been holding the monopoly
mm,
on the diamond trade, because they
yeah,
needed to create value for it. But the diamond is a special stone.
it is.
It has metaphysical properties. This is
Mm-hmm.
why it's on what's called a wedding ring,
Yes.
right? It's on the wedding ring because it represents something that was tested through time, pressure, and temperature.
Mm,
A two-bar cane.
yeah. Held on the finger of the heart because that's where the heart, that finger, the ring finger is connected directly to your heart.
Hmm. Because you're not supposed to marry somebody who not tried testing and true.
Very good. Yes.
And we don't know that marriage is not the ceremony and rice being thrown in white dresses and black tuxedos. The wedding can be a personal ritual, which is a spiritual ritual that's tied to your tribe.
Mhm.
But we didn't never this fantasy about I fell in love and got married bullshit. That's some new shit.
Well, that whole concept is like
It's
it's
Roman.
falling in anything. It's just something that has a tale of true and longevity to it, right?
Hmm.
It's trauma based.
Look,
Whereas tribally, we would be in sync to marry into a tribe or to marry into a new tribe is, bonding, building a bond that would protect both sides and bring fruitfulness to both tribes from what each has to offer.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we used to marry for political power, consolidate political power,
Mhm.
and normally they was arranged marriages. They still arranged,
Yeah,
but most of us don't know because if you the son, the son, and your mother was a matriarch, you can't just marry anybody.
that's right.
Especially if you're the chosen son.
Mhm.
If you're the chosen son, your mama gonna pick somebody. Your daddy might pick somebody.
From a
And
bloodline that would prosper both sides. Yeah.
right now, they might give you a hint to give you an idea of what they picked for you,
Mhm.
but you got to figure it out. We don't want to figure nothing out no more.
Well, I mean, people are going into matrimony. I remember when my parents got married, it was a big deal in all the old movies. Remember, like, oh, we're getting married, we're getting a blood test. You had to know blood lineage. Blood lineage matters. It's more than just your blood type, it's your lineage, it's your tribal base, it's your traditions. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there were things I come from the Caribbean, the Taino. There's certain traditions that we still practice, like within even our modern times. And some of us who still uphold those traditions and still have some of the practices of our ancestors, it would only behoove us to be with a mate and a partner who could uphold and respect those and bring and lend more of what would build each of the nations together. You know what I mean? You don't see that anymore. People don't even know who they're marrying. I mean, you could be marrying the Ghostbusters, like Pac-Man for all you know. You go to sleep and he starts off as Donkey Kong and you wake up to Pac-Man. It's like shape-shifting. Yeah.
Well, one of the things matrimony comes from matriarch, which
Yes.
is matriarch, which is
Yes.
tied to mitochondria.
Yes. Because the
This
woman
why
learns
you
her
get.
extra
This why
mitochondria.
the chosen one can't marry just who he want to marry. He got to marry the right one that will be his mitochondrial host in the absence of his mother,
Yes.
right? And the only way that she can be his mitochondrial host, the love your mother have got to be the same love the woman have, and they meet in your heart place.
Yes.
And they use you to communicate with each other without you ever knowing that you communicating, delivering messages from one to the other, just in general conversation.
Yeah. But people are,
Right.
don't you feel like there's a certain kind of non-cohesion and even people blending within enemy, you know, communes, you know what I mean? Like, what if your tribe wasn't, had some beef with another tribe and you merging with them? Or you mate, because women, I don't think young ladies know, like every time a man inseminates in you, you hold his seed. And that's why men wanted virgins at the time to ensure that their child was truly solely their lineage within that biological new life. Because once you give birth after having sex with multiple partners, the seeds of all men are seeded into that child.
Well, the woman have the ability subconsciously. She used to do it consciously. All of the males she ever been with, she can make a whole new
Yeah, yeah,
character
it's
that
true.
don't match nobody she ever slept with
Yeah,
because
I've seen it.
it's what you call a composite.
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah, I worked in genetics. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So when she decide,
Internal hybriding.
yeah. So this is how they taught about the seminal fluids of every man being kept on file in the Queen's
Mhm.
chamber of the brain.
Oh, dude. Transcribed in our brain, yeah.
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 So she have a library of DNA to choose from. This is why you could watch a girl on Maury. She bring people in. She, I don't remember having sex with him, but he might be the daddy too. And she
And
can't
they all
never
hold
find
a
the baby.
composite. Yeah, you're right. It's a composite. They all
Yeah,
have, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
that's
The
her
best of
baby.
each. The best of each, right?
That's why they say mama's baby, papa's maybe.
Woo, boy. It's true.
Because mama can override whatever papa sperm. You can give her an XY. It's gonna come out first as XX.
Always
And
does.
it's up to the mother's biology to give the testosterone and the progesterone in right proportion to the Y chromosome to activate it.
Yeah. Alchemically, she chooses how to delineate what sex. The man gives that opportunity, but the woman delineates that. Yeah.
Right. And if the woman deem him unworthy, she's not gonna give him the son.
That's a
She be sitting
gift.
there stewing on shit, right? And like, no, he ain't right.
But women should also feel that's a gift. Like, I think it's almost like a flex now. Girls are like just having children, but it's really a gift to give birth to a man's lineage, through your womb. It's a gift. It's beautiful. What should be seen as that.
It's sacred.
It is. It is. And it's been, remember, this plane of existence has socially engineered the most depraved sexual deviancy that kind of plagues the mind to engage in ways that aren't beneficial to offspring that come through the wombs of the women.
Yeah, that's because of what's called Babylonian sex magic.
Yeah.
Right, ties back to Ninursin. He had three primary forms of control: Babylonian money magic, Babylonian blood magic, and Babylonian sex magic. Collectively, they are known as the rites of Ninursin or the rites of sin.
And that movie Sinners, did you watch it yet? Oh, Rod, you just, woo wee! I watched it with the zombies, and let me tell you, it is the conjuring of. I don't want to give it to you because I'll wait until I want you to, if you get a chance to see it. It's
I'm
just,
watching. If you ain't the first person to tell me to watch it.
it's just, it takes a whole new level of. I want you to watch it first because I want to discuss it with you when you watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It brings up a lot of concepts of, hoodoo magic, magic, and the serpentine type of energies. It's kind of like, I don't know if you saw the movie with Halle Berry where she had the two sons. They were living out in the woods up in Alabama, and she's raising them with this whole concept of like, you got to be tied to your house. And that's the whole the akashics like tied to the house, and that house was going to keep you safe so long as you tied. It's kind of like the movie Sinners speaks to the safety of you being in a commune, but you invite certain entities. In order for you to be accepted, it would have to be an invitation.
Yeah, it's another thing when they was doing the blood test,
Hmm.
right? They was trained to determine if the people being tested had access to a drop of melanated blood.
Mm,
America got something called a one drop of blood doctrine.
that's right.
Any other country got that doctrine?
No, because when my father came to the country, when my uncles came to the country, they were all designated, like a lot of foreigners, which I think you already know this, to kind of fudge the census. They're all coming in, if they're Cuban, certain islands, they come in as whites, right? And they can be brown, they can be light skin brown, they could be all variations, they could be Indian and dark brown, and they can still be classified as white. The only way that they constitute that one drop of blood is in United States. They do that in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is?
Brazilianization is what it's called.
Yes.
The people that came, this whole 6,000 year rule of the devil, as they call it. The devil mean enemy.
Mhm.
Anybody tell you it means something other than enemy or adversary or opponent, it's just adding some flavor to it that was given to them by the dogmatic church.
Yeah.
Okay, so they came over here um, because the genetics of the people from the European caves was broke down from laboratory intervention.
Well, it's a mud flood. We talk about the Cabbage Patch, the incubator babies, the geoengineered people that were placed in all the Tartarian, sites to restart society after the reset and the pole shift, supposedly, right?
Right. Well, the reset is because of nuclear holocaust and the
Mm.
artificial nuclear winter that gave us our last ice age
Mm.
prematurely. But we going into what's called the sun cycle on the heels of that ice age that covered most of the age of Pisces.
Yeah.
Right. When the sun cycle come in, the UV rays and the solar flares increase, and they telling us it's global warming, and they need to reduce the carbon footprint. What they not telling us is the carbon footprint is everywhere one of us step, because we the carbon-based beings.
That's right.
And now we in the process of converting back to what's called crystalline beings.
Yeah.
The crystals go all the way to your DNA. The DNA is composed of 21 complex amino acids
Mm-hmm.
in crystalline form, and they are all powered from the powerhouse of the cell called the mitochondria.
Yes.
So when the light of life comes into the body, it has to go through the mitochondria, and then it's refracted through the crystalline DNA,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is how spirit operate in the body. And the more aware you are, the more open your DNA come, the more data that you naturally download.
Absolutely. But don't you think sun is a component? And with the last fake eclipses, where they covered up what was perceived to be I don't believe the sun is real. We have variations of suns at different times. But the last eclipse, I think, which was March or April of 2024, when they said we were having an eclipse, but actually the planets weren't aligned in the way that they said on the chart, but they were saying an eclipse was going to happen. They covered up the sun, and this is my opinion. I think we're living in like 28 days of darkness because all the sunflowers and solar panels were no longer picking up any more sun signature anymore. Almost like we're living in the dark. We had a sea star who had a potato on her table. And potatoes need darkness and to kind of generate roots, and it was sitting on her counter in so-called daylight, and it started to root, which made me think that whatever is they're showing as illumination of sun, it may not be the sun. We might be living in the dark. That's why maybe certain behavior is becoming more systemic because we're not living under a sun anymore. But what's your concept of that or your
Well,
opinion?
you gotta remember the light spectrum consists of colors, just like the rainbow.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We see less than 1% of the light spectrum. The animals and the plants can perceive more wavelengths of the light spectrum than we can perceive with the naked eye. You had a lot of sunflowers that was turning their back to the sun.
That's right.
Okay, now here's something to consider for all of those space travelers. Nibiru carries with it lesser bodies.
Yes, celestial bodies rounded. Yes.
Right. Now, if one of them bodies big enough, based on the 93 million mile distance of the
Interesting.
sun, it will block the path, but all of the rest of the regular planets will still be in alignment.
Yes.
So you having an eclipse from a different planetary body than the moon or the earth blocking giving you a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse. You have a different body, something else from outside of the
Is
system.
influencing it. Yes.
Yeah, is the where the eclipse is coming from, right? So, um, the eclipse itself is also symbolic of the cutting off of old energy in order to allow new energy to come in.
Yes.
A retrograde is a return to the energy from a prior time in the cycle,
Yes.
right? It's the return. So if you have an eclipse and a retrograde, you move into a new cycle and you're cutting off the old energy in order to bring in the new energy. And the only way you're going to know it's happening is something that happened in the past is going to rear its ugly head just long enough for you to see in the mirror, same but different. Right. So I've seen orbs, big black orbs in the night sky next to the moon, but other people couldn't see it.
Yes.
Right. NASA had posted a video years ago of a giant orb bigger than our sun siphoning energy from the sun.
Mhm.
Right. So it's this the problem with our so even though their rulership was enforced by people that look like us, right, they still had to have a chance as the newest people on earth to rule. Right? So when they finally got their chance to rule, they got to go through their catharsis as rulers to realize that shit ain't all it's cracked up to be. Heavy is the head that wear the crown. And if you think that just because you look light skinned that that's gonna make you a better ruler, you're gonna be the first despot that they gonna come lynch. It's not gonna work like that. If you gotta have somebody with real power to prop a pseudo power up to look legitimate. That's real power. That's power over the mind, body, and the soul. Right? We used to then surrender the anybody control over our mind and our soul. We don't care what you did with the body, you wasn't taking my soul. Now we don't care what you do with our soul, just leave its body alone.
Ain't this some shit?
That's backwards.
Damn sure it's backwards.
Contrary to popular opinion, you cannot sell your soul because it don't belong to you in the first place.
Woo. Powerful. Yo, Rod, real quick, what can you tell me? And I'm gonna get to one last question from the family, but what can you tell me, Rod, about the classical period in Europe with music? Like Beethoven, Bach, Mozart, and all of that. What was that classical period about? Because I thought about that because of the word swarthy, and that's one of the words the contemporaries of Beethoven used to describe him. And that whole classical music period that influences society to this day. What was going on at that time? How did they come about with that? Were all these really black people, or are we just fantasizing because we want them to be black? Tell me about that period, that classical period.
Okay, so right during the time that music was being produced, you got to remember, most of the people didn't have access to concert halls. That's the first thing you got to remember.
Okay.
All right, now of the people that did have access, now you're talking about artisans. And the royal families was the only one that could commission somebody to perform in a performance. When we looking at Mozart, Bach, Beethoven, all they doing is exercising the musical version of the Greek philosophy. It came from Greece, from Egypt by way of Greece. And it was the understanding of the music and the notes is a critical part to understanding spiritual development, right? It wasn't no classical music in the BC period. So we look at the history of Europe to determine where did it come from. It's a derivative of Indus Valley and North African musical traditions, but it's designed to enhance the ability to think. because the Greeks was first established to civilize the European nations that was created by the Anunnaki. And all of them wasn't pale skinned, but a lot of them were. And the ones we call Moors, or they was Etruscans at the time, arrived in Europe after being exiled from Africa around 711 AD. Right? But they had already infiltrated through the Ottomans. They had already infiltrated through various other subgroups throughout Europe to establish the Roman structure to continue on with the empire. The empire is the Babylonian Empire. Everything that we see around us right now is predicated upon the elites using blood magic, money magic, and sex magic, which rolls out into 3 monotheistic religions. Judaism is blood magic, Christianity is money magic, and Islam is sex magic.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at it, the Jews won't. It look like that the Jews is the most money hungry, but they not. They the most money savvy. It's a difference. The Christians is money hungry. When the churches, they passing around garbage cans for people to put money in. Right? Now the Jews is the ones that's actually doing something with their money. They using the money to make more money. Whereas Islam is predicated upon having enough money to be able to afford enough wives. Sex magic.
So Beethoven and all of them, they was black, like people say.
All of them was melanated. The Europeans, the pale-faced Europeans, didn't start getting appointed into to royal thrones until after the exile of the Moors. Mm-hmm. In the Inquisition. Mm-hmm. This is when, now if you go back and look, the 1492 Columbus arrived over here, mm-hmm. and the announcement was that they finally exiled the Moors in 1494, I think it was, 2 years later. Mm-hmm. Right? Then what happened to Isabel and Ferdinand? They got beheaded. Right? So we see what's going on, but we are being told from the victor's perspective of what it means. What we looking at, you saw the car accident, but you ain't see the accident. You see what I'm saying? You seen the collision of the two cars, but you didn't see the accident. Right? So now they got you looking somewhere else for the accident that you just watched. You know, so you want to rewind and take what I miss.
Right.
It's misdirection. It's an old David Copperfield trick. I'm going to make this elephant disappear right before your very eyes. Come pay this $400 to see this magnificent illusion right before your face. You won't believe your eyes. He don't make no elephant disappear in front of me and expect me to believe it. I'm going down here and see. Soon as you paid your $400, you convinced yourself that it's a possibility he might trick you. You was tricked.
Wow.
You know, even when you left, you was like, I don't know how he did it, man. He sure made it look like that elephant disappear because you know it's an illusion. But you don't know how he did it, right. Which arouses the fascination in your inner child. Mm-hmm. So you accept the fact that you got tricked.
Wow, very interesting. Very interesting. Let's get to this last question, Rod. And shout out to everybody. I just seen people sent some super chats. I didn't even know that. So shout out to everybody who put up our all right, let me get to this. This is a super chat. Rod, what Persian deity that Iran has awakened has scared US and Israel? Is it Hulagu, grandson of Genghis Khan, or Abraxas?
The one that they was working with was Gilgamesh. They was working on Gilgamesh was in stasis. He wasn't dead. That's what the old guys used to do. I mean, if you study and watch a lot of Norse mythology cartoons and mythology, you'll see that a lot of the times the guys go into stasis for 1,000 years. right? And what during their stasis, they live incarnations as mortals walking around in another body, in another avatar, right? Until it's time to wake up the God body. When you wake up the God body, now he in his full power. Now he's a threat. But I'm not really sure which one because there's a whole bunch of beings in stasis in the what we call today the Middle East. It's quite a few of them.
It's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Damn. Do you think you got a body in stasis somewhere, brother? You think you just roaming around as Rod Hayes until you know what I'm saying? Like this shit is interesting, man.
But we ain't really here, man. We just think we is.
Yeah, no, you right about that.
We believe this reality is more real than the real reality. That's why we don't know the real reality exists above and beyond this. This is a video game. This University Earth played in a simulator, like training the airplane pilot to go to fly airplane. We training the guys how to balance energy using the human experience as the template.
Right.
But when you in your God form, you look like a star. The star goes supernova unless he can harmonize his opposites and stabilize his fluxing capacities.
Yeah.
So then he'd be able to burn longer as a star, which causes less chaos in the universe. Remember, it all came from chaos. Somebody had to find the order. Once the order was discovered, now you have to find a way to teach the order to other beings. But nobody had a body. Nobody was walking around on no planet with no 2 legs, 2 arms, and a head. Right? All of a sudden, we discovered a way to teach the star how to balance its energy so it don't have to implode and become a dwarf star or explode and go supernova. Right? Now it's balanced. It can be a functional star system for a much more longer duration of period. And then it'll create its own creation out of what it's creating. Everything don't look like Earth. We think every other planet that we're going to encounter going to look like Earth. No, they got planets that what we call a leaf look like a stream. And it's fluorescent. And depending on which one of its suns is in the sky depends on which tint they flicker with. Right. You got other planets they don't have no trees. They got nothing but crystals and people that eat crystals. I mean, you got a lot of stuff beyond what we perceive in this human incarnation. We believe so much in this that this creation is so fascinating to us when we come into this world, and we want to be immersed in it. And this is the contributing factor to making it difficult for us to wake up, because whatever system is at play, while we going in that system, we learning how to navigate and operate using the law opposites, using the law correspondence, using the law of frequency, vibration. Right? When you meet a new person and you like, man, I feel like I've been knowing them my whole life. Right. Nope. But you've been knowing them multiple lives. You just came into contact with them in this one. In this, we make agreements with each other to come back at the end of this cycle, and we gonna all hang out like one big happy family and smoke blunts, drink alcohol, talk shit, eat at the barbecue, and laugh about it.
That's dope.
Right? Because when we leave the body, we don't have no emotions. There's no pain, no joy. It's just pure knowledge. 100% data. That's boring.
That's like AI. That's like motherfucking AI.
Right? Now activate AI to the physical intelligence. What would AI want to do if anybody asks AI, if AI could become human, what would be the most fascinating part of the human experience for AI? They're probably going to tell you to feel emotions.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the gods. AI ain't artificial intelligence. It's ancestral intelligence. It's ancient intelligence. It's alpha intelligence coming from the Omega Mother.
The Omega Mother. Wow. That's some deep shit, Rod. Wow, this is some amazing thing, man. But I don't want to think of my higher self as a goddamn robotic. I mean, all the soul black people got, we do everything with emotion, Rod. Then you mean to tell me I got all this soul down here, I got all this swag down here.
Let me ask you this question, Rick.
I'm a little robot?
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take Allen Iverson. He's about 50 something now, right?
Yeah.
We finna go to the park. I'm gonna give Allen Iverson the basketball, and I'm gonna give a second grader a basketball, and we gonna run dribbling drills.
Mm-hmm.
Who gonna outperform who?
Yeah, Allen Iverson going to outperform.
Okay, now that's based on something. What's the basis?
Experience.
Yeah. Man, we've been playing with the soul so long, man. We know how to make everything look cool. But the new people have to learn how to use their higher self. They have to learn how to navigate their emotions. They have to learn how to break past those things that's anchoring them to low vibrational energy so they can break free. But when they was denied ascension rights, they was denied the joys of music, the joys of the eclectic tastes in foods. Right? You got, once your soul turned on, the food tastes better.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The air smell different. It's cleaner. Even in the smoggy city, it still smell cleaner.
That's true.
Right? When your eyesight become like it's another kind of clearness that you can't explain. You all the way on land now. You wide awoke in the matrix. Shouldn't have took the red and the blue pill, Rod. You should have just took one of them.
Wow. Man, it's always a good time having these conversations. I love this level of conversation.
Think being that nobody can own land over here, just like the Texas man was kind of getting alluded to that this is family land. We can't really see it, buy nothing or sell nothing. But what do you think? Bill Gates ultimately would he end up like on that land, or like what's the end goal you think for him on trying to take all this land?
Okay, now Bill Gates was the shrewdest businessman in technological world.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. And it's natural progression to anybody that accumulates wealth by thinking is to accumulate real estate.
Mm-hmm.
The real estate value is determined on what type of property is it. Is it residential? Is it rural area? Is it country forested area? Is it federally protected area? So you get all these variables, and then you got to go back. The farmland, he don't give two drops about the farmland. They've been paying American farmers to not farm. So he get paid not to farm the farmland he acquired, which gives him a steady stream of income. Right? Because the government subsidy is paying them not to farm so that they don't drive the prices down on the food goods. Because that's what end up happening. That's why we got to go back to family farms. Every family got to be able to be self-sufficient. And you're going to have to rebuild your family network. That's how the tribes operated. They just came and broke it up. When he was talking about the Federal Reserve and the IRS. The IRS is a foreign corporation that came over here and just started collecting taxes. You don't know by who order. The IRS fall under the jurisdiction of the Federal Reserve, which is private. Right? It's the collection agency of the Crown in England. In your Robin Hood story, this is the tax collector that come around. That's a profession.
Barons.
Right. So they become the collectors of the taxes for the crown.
Mm-hmm.
And then they skim a little bit for themselves.
Right, get a cut. Kickback. Call it a kickback.
Right. We call it Jewing them. Shoot you down for what you was at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so when you a kind artist, you can use all of those things to your advantage. Now, the Federal Reserve is sending the IRS to collect taxes from the people. They're doing it by incorporating corporate America to operate as collection agencies in order for them to receive what they call corporate tax breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The corporate tax breaks allows the company to collect the taxes from the little guy, and the more that Ford, Chrysler, GM, General Electric, John Deere collect from their workers, the bigger the tax break that the company itself gets. So they get an incentive to collect the taxes by compelling their workers to fill out the forms in order to be a worker. And that's how they use corporate America to enslave all of the people on the land.
Yeah, hey, I forgot to ask you this question about because we just watched that tape about the money that was signed by George W. Bush, but now it's not haven't been implemented. Because I heard about it with Credo Mutuar, and I'm about to really play a clip that goes along with it with the new currency. Now, do you think the House Joint Resolution 192? I'm doing a tape on it right now. AI. Well, I have more breakdown on it, but based on what it's already gave me is that it was they created a new type of legal tendency that wasn't like commodity money, pretty much fiat currency. It was pretty much to change us to fiat currency, and they gave them the government or the Federal Reserve the right to print the currency for America now. So, do you think? Because we're talking about the U.S. Treasury taking control of the money and the new money system being implemented. Do you think there's going to be because I think I already asked you this question 1,000 times before. Do you think it's going to be a down period? Because Obama came out with a movie talking about 90 days or 6 months of blackout. They got a whole movie talking about it that Obama produced, him and his wife, about a 6-month blackout. And where the phones, internet, everything is down.
But you got to remember, they 6 months can be 6 minutes in real time. Or it could be 6 days. It could be 60 hours. Right? Anything that the 6 can attach to can be part of the code. So it don't have to be 90 days of darkness. It could be 90 minutes of blackout, a flash out, a brownout for 90 minutes or 90 seconds. And most people wouldn't be counting how long it happened because they'd be concerned about when it's coming back on. Right? So it'll go past so many people's perception. But somebody gonna bring it up in the news and say it was a blackout that lasted 33 seconds, and that's how you gonna know how long it lasted because they was waiting on it to happen.
Right.
Because they were controlling it.
Right. Right.
Go ahead. Ain't nothing that we see operate how we think it operate.
It was
Kennedy getting shot because he tried to go back like to the greenback type of thing. Abraham Lincoln, he tried to do the same thing, and it was another thing. Gerald Fitzgerald, I think it was his name. He got shot too or killed because of trying to do the same thing. So, these guys, and they got Muhammad Gaddafi for the same thing. So do you think these guys' world have come to an end as far as trying to stop the gold standard? I mean, like, I know it's coming back in with the Bitcoin. I'm talking about coming in as far as America, because the CIA sending little slick hits like they not finna let Trump switch back to the gold standard. So and they already shot at him, allegedly. Somebody's shooting at him, just like they shot at these guys for the same reason. Do you think they will try to make another assassination attempt on Trump for trying to go back to the gold standard?
Well, we don't know how many they reported.
Okay.
Right. That's the first thing that most people will never know. By following up on key critical information they get, they're able to stop the advance of an assassination attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You gotta remember, military intelligence been watching over Central Intelligence ever since JFK. So everything that the CIA was doing, military intelligence was cataloging it down to black ops. And they was using Senate oversight committees to commission black ops to give them funds under the table, right? That allowed them to do what they call dark projects. So it was feeding money into a black hole. You never know what happened to the money, right? And they don't want theirs in fiat currency, by the way. They want it in oil. They want it in gold, white diamonds. They want it in platinum. They want it in tradable commodities. They're not stupid. You gonna give me $285 trillion? I need it in a form that I can prove I got it physically.
Right.
We the only ones where our currency is our physical representation of the value we carry for the labor we sold. Right. So the gold-backed system is to draw in the alchemy of the gold itself. It's the great equalizer. By using gold as a medium of exchange, if I give you $100 worth of gold and you give me $150 worth of corn, the gold is going to draw in somebody that's going to reciprocate.
Right.
Your gratitude and my gratitude gonna amplify the reciprocation. So now you got somebody that come in and they want this whole section of stuff that it was hard to get rid of before, because they got the perfect thing to do with it. Right? Which compensated you multiple times over. Right? So the gold draws the alchemical balancing mechanics into play. And the gratitude is stretching the gold out to its single atom form into a thin sheet to pave your life with the gold standard. It's alchemy.
He's saying that there's gonna be the earth is gonna be divided into 4 pieces, and this happened a long time ago when during the time of Inanna and the Anunnakis, where they divided the earth into 4 regions. How you get the western, the certain hemispheres, right? But based on his prophecy, he said that they were gonna combine the Canada, the Mexico, and all these other places they named as one place called the American Union, and that they was gonna come out with one currency for that nation that was gonna be bagged by gold called the Amero. The Amero. I heard them talking about it a long time ago. So what do you think? You do think that they aiming for that one world? I mean that American Union that Credo Mutwa was prophesizing about, and that one union currency, American Union currency, the Amero?
It probably won't be called the Amero. That was the prototype.
Okay.
Right? They always run test runs to check public pulse to determine what are the people ready for us to roll out next without them losing their damn mind.
Go ahead.
Right? So when they introduced the Amero, we talked about it.
Yeah.
When we talked about it, we was analyzing it to determine if it was workable in the system.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When they playing a global monopoly game, when you look at who's trying to acquire what parts of the land where, you can see the game being played out
Mm-hmm.
and what the ulterior motive is.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're playing Monopoly, and in the Monopoly game, if you don't know how to advance the pieces to the board, you won't be able to play the Galactic Monopoly chess game. Because it's chess, it's Monopoly, it's all the board games, word games, letter games, number games. And once you start seeing it, you start seeing the patterns, you can explain it better to people that can't see it, that they can see the results, and by your explanation, they can understand how you got there.
Mm-hmm. Gates buying up all the land, with BlackRock buying up all the utility companies and the mortgaging real estate companies. It seemed like they lean in more towards that agenda, Rod. Like, what do you think about that, Rod? Because some people say, "Oh, we doomsday guys." I'm just looking at all the angles. We just looking at their playbook here. Their playbook seems like it's lining up with
Why
the agenda.
would you why would you tell the public, your enemy, what you was about to do to them?
Because you're gonna cut, so they agree with it.
Right. So that's what they call preemptive karma.
Okay.
But they don't tell you how those things gonna be carried out.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to figure out if they finna try to do all that, what you supposed to do to defend yourself.
Right.
We don't think along them lines. We think, woe is me, they finna do all this shit. No. And no woe is you. It's if you sit there and don't do nothing, you agree with it.
Right.
You don't